Okay, this is, Town of Charlton Zoning Board of Appeals. Today's Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. We're gonna do new business first. So first, we have a petition from, forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, Rafet and Rainier Shinoda? Shinoda. Do you wanna step forward and, so can you both each state your name for the record, please?
State your name.
Rafat Shinoda.
Okay,
Sandra Bacon,
okay.
and I would like to speak for Rafet if I can.
You counsel for them? Yeah,
Well, not counsel, but
yeah.
he speaks English
Maybe
well,
it
but he
others.
gropes for words. So we
Okay.
thought if we could
Yeah.
share
Good.
with you.
All right, so do you want to just tell this board what you're proposing to do and the relief that you're seeking and why, and you wanted to give us the reasons why the board should approve your relief?
I could. If I can share this with you, it wasn't in our packet, but this is the building that we're talking about. If you, that's the way the building exists today.
Okay.
Evidently, it was built when the
I guess we just have
front
two copies.
structure was built, so it's been there for many years. And Rafet's father is 80 years old, and he needs to come and live with the family. And Rafet's home is only 2 bedrooms, and there are about 12 stairs to get up to the level. That building is on a flat level and would make it easily accessible for an elderly person with walking problems. There is plenty of parking around the building. Water and sewer is available in the road there, so it could be hitched in quite easily if that was required.
So the current structure, the current main building is on a septic system?
The main building is on town sewer, and it does have a well, but the water is available on Route 20 also, I
Okay.
believe. You know, the structure itself was always used for an auto body repair and maintenance thing. It hasn't been used for that since probably in the late 1990s or so. And I know that it's, there are other properties on Route 20 that McClure has a building in the back that's used for apartments. And City Power has an apartment in their building. Angles has an apartment in their building. So we're hoping that, we know it's not zoned that way, but there's plenty of land for parking and the building's there. And he really needs it. No, they have the measure. Did I cover it all?
So, and I understand his plight. My concern is this, is that, you know, it's an accessory building right now, and essentially, you know, the lot is way, way undersized to add another dwelling unit on it. I think what the minimum in the community business is what, like 40,000 square feet? And then in, I don't know off the top of my head, maybe I think it's another 20,000 square feet per dwelling unit to do that. And the lot itself is only 27,400 square feet. So you're asking us to take an accessory structure and make it essentially not an accessory structure, an accessory unit anymore. And that would stay with the property, you know, in perpetuity afterwards. I understand that his father's coming, and that does make sense. He's living on the second floor above the, where's it, like a massage parlor or?
Right, it's a
Yeah.
massage parlor, which has been there for years.
Yeah, I really haven't noticed other, I mean, I think, I didn't know that McClure had a building in the back that is used as a residential property. I know your adjacent properties aren't that way. It looks like on one side, there's a single, on both sides, there might be a single-family houses.
Right, but the next one down, Angles, is a split entry with an apartment up and a business down.
Yeah, but like, in that row right there, there's no structures that have a separate, like, all the multi-uses are all one main structure. There's not a separate structure
Correct,
as a main use.
that's true,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's my, which one is McClure?
McClure is across the street up towards CVS on the
Oh, okay.
north side of the street.
Okay.
I think it's It's
I
the
don't know.
engineering firm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just couldn't think of which building it was. I know they're there.
The white building before the new vet.
And 8 North Main Street, it has like 4
Oh.
apartments, separate.
Yeah, that's to Barry's land.
Sturbridge Vet that just went in,
Oh, is that what it is? That gray building there?
so that's Sturbridge Vet, and then to the right is.
Okay.
McClure
And then there's
White-
the water tank.
White building.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then to Barry's land is up, is that your family?
It was my family's land, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know, across from CVS, there's multiple buildings there,
Yeah.
you know. It's not like this is a new structure, so we're hoping that
No, I
the use
understand.
could be changed. He is presently renting it now to a landscaping company, you know, who keeps their equipment there and
Right,
whatever.
right.
This would look a lot better
Well,
than
you're
all
not
the
really gonna,
equipment.
you're gonna change the overall use.
Right.
You guys have questions?
No.
I'm not
Rob?
really clear, I'm not even clear on what we're,
So they're asking for a special permit for change, alteration, extension of an existing use. So on the property, there's the main building, which is the
Yeah.
bottom floor is like a commercial use. There's an apartment on the second floor.
Right.
In the back of the building, there's a separate whole building that's like a workshop or a storage thing that they're asking to change into a residential dwelling unit.
right, but so the special permit is based on frontage and.
No,
And lot size?
no,
or-
change, alteration, extension of an existing use.
Okay.
So they're asking to change that from, you know, accessory use essentially as a storage area, workshop, commercial, to a residential use.
As you can see around the building, I mean, there's room for cars, although Rafet's father would not drive, but if it were used in the future
Yeah.
for a dwelling, there's still plenty of room for cars and the cars for the business.
So it's currently business, and they want to change it to residential.
Right now, it's the zone is community business. So the lot that this on has a residential unit, a commercial unit, and then this back structure, which
This is the business.
might have been a business unit or an accessory storage unit or whatever. I mean, you got the picture there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small little, you know, looks like it was a shed or a storage unit for whatever.
What is
No.
the foundation of the building?
It is cement.
It's a flat slab?
Pardon?
Flat slab or?
It's a flat slab. The renovations were done in 2019. It has a new roof, new siding, new electric. And,
Picture if you want to see.
So
no.
this building would just be adapted, or it would be,
There's no-
Nothing would change
There's
except
no
the
lavatory or
interior.
anything in it right now.
There was at one point evidently a drainage system in, but no, there was never a bathroom in it, but there was a drainage system, I
Yeah,
assume.
To see if adding a bathroom into the flat slab is gonna be a problem. You know, you'd have to dig up the whole entire flat slab itself,
Right.
yeah.
Well, there's a pipe that comes in from the well now that goes into the side of the slab. Actually, it can't be, I did renovate, I used to own the property. It's not a flat slab. 4 feet down is gravel and cement.
So it has a foundation that's filled in, is what you're telling me?
Yeah. I mean, if it was converted, that would all have to go according to code, right? If that was an issue.
Should we hear from the building inspector?
You wanna wait to hear that, if you have more comments or questions? What do you think?
No, I'm ready to hear.
All right, so do you wanna hear from, Kurt Metzger, the zoning enforcement officer / building inspector?
Mr. Chairman, Kurt Meskis, Building Commissioner, Zoning Enforcement Officer. Handouts is. Couple on this side. Three on that side, make sure everybody gets one. So, this property is a pre-existing non-conforming property. It's in the community business zone, which requires 40,000 square feet of area and 150 feet of frontage. The property currently has 100 feet of frontage and approximately 27,700 square feet of area. It's improved by a detached accessory structure that in 2019, a permit was issued for some renovations. Previously, it appeared to have been a garage, and the work that was done at that time removed the garage doors, put in a couple of man doors and some windows for an unknown purpose. The front of the property has a two-story building on it that has been at different times, different things. It had a residential unit above, and then for a period of time, it was an extension of the commercial uses below. It was converted back to a residential unit above and has 1.5 or 2 commercial units below. What the applicant is asking to do is to put 2 principal uses on a single lot, which is allowed when the lot is of sufficient size to be considered 2 lots. So they would need 80,000 square feet and 300 feet of frontage. So the locus is shown on page 1, as the applicant and others have pointed out, looking left to right, from the corner of H. Putnam Road Extension, there is a residential unit above and a business below. Then there's a single-family home, and to the right of it is another single-family home. Some of the other properties the applicant mentioned are all pre-existing nonconformancies, have predate zoning, mostly by a large amount. I will correct the statement. Mr. McClure's property is 1 business use and is using 2 buildings. It was a residential unit in the back. When Mr. McClure moved into that building or that property, it was site plan approved with the residential unit that existed in the back, and they converted the house into an office. It is a much larger lot than this lot. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. If we turn to page 2, there's the picture of the subject parcel is the picture of the building in the back. If it is being operated as a commercial landscaping use, not an accessory use to the principal structure, that would be a zoning violation, because that would be a second business use in a building that is not permitted to have 2 principal uses on it. And next door, or I'm sorry, that building, as I show on there, you can see the A-frame-ish house, that's what we call that house anyway, and that. So there is space below that if the applicant was to terminate the lease with the tenants, that they could make that lower unit into a residential unit, and that would be conforming. It would be a 2-family home on a pre-existing non-conformity, which is allowed in the community business zone. And on the last page, you can see the small single-family home there that's to the right of that building, and then what looks like a single-family home, but it's a raised ranch, and it has a hair salon in the lower level. I would not recommend approval of this. This is an undersized lot. I empathize with having older parents that need somewhere to live, but right now you would be setting up something that is not allowed expressly in the bylaw. I don't think a special permit is appropriate, because I don't think it's a change of use from one thing to another. Last time I inspected that building, it was an empty shell. So what permitted use got put in there? I did speak to the owner and Ms. Bacon several times over the past couple of years, and he said, yep, it was certainly allowable to be used as an accessory structure to the principal use, but no time did I ever say that it could be its own use. This has been discussed several times over the past year. I even believe that this question was asked at the time of sale of the property when I told them that it was not permitted under zoning. Thank you.
You guys have any more questions or comments?
I mean, can it be added on to in the back? Looks like there might be room.
Is it is it, you mean an accessory?
The existing two-story
Yeah.
building, looks like there might be room to be even expanded.
Well, that would be something completely different from what we've got in front of though.
Yeah, but
And
that's,
if they wanted to add like an accessory apartment onto the back.
yeah,
Yeah, they
it
could do,
would be
they
up
could
to
do a
them to
renovation,
appl-
but,
Right,
yeah.
apply at another time or whatever.
right, yeah, I'm just wondering why we need to even consider a whole separate building when if they could add on to
Right, because the building is already there.
the existing
Right,
residential structure.
yeah. You know, in like Kurt said, and I think I said too, is like I empathize with, you know, the parents moving over here. But essentially, you know, we be creating this use for, this principal use for this property, which is right now an accessory use, and adding a principal use on that did not exist up until now. And if it was a garage in 2019, essentially, they're asking us to, that they want to convert a garage, which they partially converted into a storage thing, now into a single-family dwelling unit, which I'm not comfortable with, you know, considering the fact that it's like way undersized for that,
Right,
all right?
so that's to be accessory to one of the primary uses of the property.
Right, and then they're asking for that to be a primary use. They were asking for that accessory building to be a primary use. You have any comments or anything?
I don't see how we could do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Just because there's gonna be more, it would be easier to do an addition than it would be to convert that over.
Right, if it was an addition to the house, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's a whole separate thing with.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That
not,
has nothing to do with us, if they wanted to do that. Yeah, I don't think that if we make a vote, then I don't think, from my feeling right now, is that you would get a pass on that. I don't think that there's, it's not that I don't empathize with, Mr. Canada, it's just that I don't feel comfortable converting that into a dwelling unit, which is gonna be there forever, and, you know, and if, you know, the property gets sold in 5 years, then like, everything still stays the same, and it just becomes a regular investment unit at that point, which at this point, I don't feel comfortable doing it at all. So my two options now is I can go through the rest of the, you know, the procedure and have a vote. If the vote goes down, then there's a 2-year statute of limitations on reapplying for anything similar or anything like that, so.
Would that statute apply to adding on to the main house if that is allowed?
I don't believe so. If they were gonna apply for something different than what they're doing now, this wouldn't apply to them.
So you're being asked to rule on a specific set of facts.
Yeah, if
right
it's a
now,
separate set of
and
facts, yeah,
It's a whole different question.
yeah. So, I mean, I can vote, we can have a vote if you want to withdraw the application, just to be on the safe side, you know, we can have a vote on that as well, if you think. And now, if there is another similar set of facts that came up that might be allowable, and we vote, then at least you preserve that right versus having to wait 2 years to come back. If you needed to come back before, it's again.
All right, so if it wasn't referred to the back building at all, does that 2 years set?
So without getting into too much detail,
So maybe
I don't
we
wanna
should
say yes, I don't wanna
withdraw.
say no, because I'm not really 100% sure off the top of my head.
Okay,
You know, what's in front of us right now is that back building.
right.
How that may impact something else that he may propose to do, I couldn't tell you, because I don't know what that would be. Mr. Meskis?
There's a provision that if a similar but substantially changed proposal was brought forward, then if the planning board, interestingly enough,
Yeah,
voted to concur that it was a sufficient change, then it could come back before the zoning board of appeals in less than 2 years.
it's totally up to you.
If I understand you correctly, if we withdraw now,
Yeah,
perhaps we could submit something to the planning board or whatever.
if you wanted to do something.
Otherwise, we wait 2 years.
Yeah, otherwise, if it was a similar type thing, that it needed to come back in front of us, it would be 2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you understand?
If you do withdraw though, and you decide you're gonna bring this up, you'd have to file the whole thing all over again.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and,
So what, could
And
I
I-
have 1 second?
yeah, absolutely.
If we withdraw now, right, and they don't vote, we don't wait 2 years to apply for something else, if we want to. And Kurt just mentioned maybe there's a way the planning board could go around the frontage or whatever.
If she said no, we have to wait 2 more years.
Yes, before you do anything.
But right now, they just say yes or no.
No, they haven't finished that
I have
procedure.
already more than 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I know,
I
so,
don't know who if I just don't know. We don't know. We can just-
so do you want to just withdraw?
The other thing too is you could ask for a continuance and then come back to us if all the parties agree to a continuance. But
Okay.
my personal opinion, what you presented to the board tonight, I don't think I would vote for at all. Like, I don't think I would approve at all in this thing.
What is it, just a majority vote on that?
No,
Just
if it's a
gotta go
variance, it's 2/3.
2/3.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my dad, he's
Yeah.
doing- Okay, this.
If we're asking for a continuance though, a lot of us are going away on vacation in August, so we wouldn't probably look at it till the end of August at the earliest.
Okay. Mr. Meskis, are you suggesting that we could go to the planning board and they might not care
No,
about the
that's
frontage?
not-
That's not what you said.
No.
That's not what I said. I said that, I spoke of a mechanism that allows a chance to come back. So if there was a denial,
Yeah.
okay, nothing similar happens for 2 years. Okay? If there was some sort of substantial change within that 2 years, and the planning board was petitioned, okay, it would be on their agenda, and they would have to say, yes, this is substantially changed from what was presented tonight, they could vote
Oh,
to allow it to come back to the ZBA again.
okay. But there would be no substantial change. So,
If you withdraw and come back to me with another proposal, then I will evaluate that proposal on the merits of it.
then I think we should withdraw.
Gentlemen, I mean, in terms of voting for this, I mean, my opinion is that I wouldn't vote for this. Before I go any further, do the rest of the board share the same view that I have? Do you guys have a different view? Is there something we want to discuss any further?
I don't have a different.
Can you just run me through your reasoning one more time?
So my reasoning is this, is that the minimum square footage on the property is 40,000 square feet per unit, okay? So right now, there is the principal use or the primary use, which is the main building, which has a commercial unit on the ground floor and a residential unit on the second floor. Also in the back of this is a separate structure that has been used as an accessory use, all right, which is allowed, all right, and they're asking for us to change that as an additional principal use on the property. So for that to be a principal use on the property, it's not even close to meeting the minimum of anything at all. Like, I mean,
What's the minimum, 80?
yeah, it's like it's
80
80,000 square feet,
And
you
you
know,
don't
it
even
needs
meet the
300 feet of
300
frontage.
square foot.
There's 100 feet of frontage, 27,000 square feet lot. I mean, it's not like 5 feet off or 100 feet off, right? So if we granted the relief that they're requesting, and I empathize with them that, you know, their father's coming over or whatever, and it is kind of an ideal kind of thing because it's on the ground floor. They're essentially asking us to change what was originally a garage or storage type structure into a residential dwelling unit. And then that stays with the property, you know, in perpetuity forever. So if it's 5 years down the line, he decides to sell it, and some guy wants to put, you know, family in that back unit or whatever, that would be allowed because we allowed it. And I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Doesn't the special permit have to do with the consideration of how it's going to affect the other properties around it, and this structure is existing? It's just the use of the structure that would be
Right,
driving the.
so there's no other properties around it that have a back unit that has an additional principal use for that, like the neighboring properties don't. There's another, and any ones that do have it, on Route 20 predate zoning. So, I mean, that's it was built before 1987 and used as that before 1987.
Mhm.
So they're asking for us to change something that hasn't ever been that way, ever.
Yeah, and the lot's already.
If you're,
smaller
like,
than
if
what
you're
we
comfortable with it,
require.
that's fine with me, I mean, but.
No,
yeah.
I wanna make sure that I understand the reasoning
Yeah.
to what the denial is of the permit, because it's,
No.
the outside of the structure isn't gonna change,
Right,
it's the inside of the structure.
so you're having.
You're talking logistically about, like, if there is town water and sewer, they're hooking up to that, it's not affecting the properties around it beyond a person's living there. There's the ability for people to live there.
Right, but now you have like 2 buildings that are residential dwelling units in that area that none of the other ones really do have. Is that really in harmony with the intent of the zoning? Is it similar to the neighborhood that it's in right now? You know, if there was other, you know, multi-structural units in that, you know, right around there or whatever, maybe we might think about that differently than it is now, you know? Is that the intent of the bylaw, is to allow stuff like this that really was not built as a principal use, now to allow them to use it as a principal use? That's the question that, you know, I'm asking myself.
We desperately need more housing in town. More
That's up to the
apartment,
town meeting, though, not up to me.
more apartments, I mean.
In essence, it's, you know, there's a shed, and they wanna turn it into a house, so other properties around it, if they had sheds, if they threw a shed on there, they wanna now change it into a studio for somebody to live in. It's not really conforming to the neighborhood in that sense.
So even
That's
the
how I look
house,
at it.
It predates zoning, but it's under square footage nowadays to build a house on that size lot,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm thinking about, is
Yeah.
if they wanted to build a house on that lot today, they wouldn't be allowed to.
Because it's too small.
Unless it was some sort of grandfather or something like that,
Right.
yeah.
Right, but that's talking about a new structure, but that's like a whole different.
Right.
But you're adding a second structure.
You're creating a principal use out of an accessory use.
Also kinda sets a precedent, I'm sure there's other properties around there that have sheds or garages that,
I mean, to the size of this structure, Right, but also it's on, you're talking about a precedent, but we say it all the time at this board that it's a case-by-case basis.
It is.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
set precedents.
At this time, could we just ask for a postponement?
Okay. You don't happen to have the dates on this, do you?
I can grab it.
Yeah. You don't happen to have a pen and paper there handy, do you?
I do. Would you like these?
Yeah, I don't know when we're gonna do our next meeting.
That's fine.
So if you do.
Yeah, I would guess it would be early in September.
Yeah, so it's July 15th. I would probably, 60 days?
Okay, so
This was June 10th.
Was there a time frame that this has to be?
There has to be a decision, one way or another, on time frame, unless the parties are in an agreement to extend.
So it would have to happen before September 10th.
Yeah. Let's do the Tuesday after Labor Day.
May 29th is Kurt's Law.
So what date are we supposed to have a decision by? Do you have it, are you ready to?
It's at the top.
You just tell me. It's fine.
August 17th.
We have to have a decision by August 17th?
Yes.
All right.
If we
when did we
withdraw,
receive
can
the
we?
application? That's when you have to have, no. So that's 65, August 17th is when you have to have the first hearing by.
Okay,
And 100 days from receipt is 9/21, so that's September 21st.
Okay.
That's when you have to have a decision by. So you could.
we're still within the time.
Well within.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we could do it in September.
Yeah. So if you just want to ask for a continuance until the next time we have a meeting, which will be early in September.
Right, that,
And then we'll have to make a decision one way or the other, either you revise the application.
okay. Would it matter if Rayford is not here at that time and I just
No, so if you're-
represent him?
If he's not gonna be here, that's absolutely fine. He has to submit something to the zoning board in writing authorizing you to speak on his behalf.
Right.
So all we need is just something in writing saying that,
That
I
is in-
authorized whoever to speak on my behalf. That's
That
absolutely
is
fine.
in the packet already that we submitted.
Okay,
Do we
so,
need to do it again?
no, if it's already in, then that's fine.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'd appreciate that if we could, so
Okay,
is
so-
that a set thing for September 21st, or we?
Well, we'll set a meeting before September 21st,
Okay,
so she'll let you know.
So, can you send me mail to your address because I hold my post office for 3 months, so maybe I don't
Okay.
receive the letter for the.
yeah, so if you could mail the
The Hill
appointment to
House.
14 Nugget Hill Road,
Okay,
the one that's
Yeah.
on there.
Because I hold my mailbox.
Yeah, he'll be gone for 3 months.
I have
Okay.
8 years, I never see my family.
He's
Okay.
going to get his dad and.
Okay, yeah.
So, good. I
All right, so
appreciate
there's a
your time.
motion to
Thank you.
continue to the next meeting on this application.
I'll make a motion to continue.
All right, is there a second on the motion?
A second.
As a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Just so you know, like, the way it is right now, like, I know that I wouldn't vote for this at all.
I know.
So it'd have to be a substantial change. Yeah.
So we have to wait until next meeting.
Yes, we have to wait till next meeting. All right.
All
Thank
right,
for
and we'll
your
let you know
time.
when we schedule the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, so next order of business is the zoning board application.
Finally.
I'm sorry I didn't have this to you before. Okay, so I have 3 sets here. I have, this is the current application that we have with the town. It's 13 pages long. You wanna take a copy? Because you're gonna probably have some input on this.
Oh, you probably need this, she brought this, so it needs to be entered into the
Yeah, just put that in with the file.
file.
Thank you very much.
All right, I should have highlighted this one. So Eric did one. This is his version of the application. That's Eric's version.
So wait, this one that we just got handed is which version?
Original version, current version.
Okay.
You everyone have a pen?
Yeah.
You have a pen? All right, this is the Falcone version, we'll call it. All right, well, that's his name. All right, and then the last one is the one that I put together. So I looked at probably 7 or 8 different towns, what they have for applications. And, we'll just call this one the Lombardi application. I looked at a number of different towns, some in and around Boston, some around here. So I just picked random towns around the state and looked at their zoning applications. All of them are shorter than ours. Like, some of them are just like 2 pages, right? Some of them have the same information, but in different ways. When I looked at our application, the way I kinda looked at it was, and I think they probably came up with this back in the 80s or the early 90s, they came up with this application. And if you look at our original application, I think what they tried to design to do is that, this is before, we had Microsoft Word and all this other stuff, is they try to create it so that the decision was kind of built into the actual application. So if you look at our original application, if you look at and we've kind of mishmashed this on and off. So if you look at the original application, the Exhibit A portion with the relief, and then if you look at, it would be page 5, which starts with the variance, right? So this would be the decision essentially, and we asked the applicant to essentially fill this out, and then they would be able to just copy and paste this, and that would be the decision, because all the information was there. So like the petitioner, his address is this, and then the finding of facts right here would be attached as that's essentially the original decision they made as part of the application, so they didn't have to recreate the whole thing. And it's the same thing with the special permit. And if you look at all these questions, some of them are just like page 9, number 20, applicable to a multifamily in a non-residentially zoned area, they're kind of specific on a lot of this stuff, even on page 4 or 5, which page 2, the Exhibit A, they're only talking about dimensional relief on the variances, and then they just have something general for that. So, we don't really need all that, in this day and age, because, we have the computer that, that we can just kind of fill in the blanks and already have that template, and that's what we've been doing for years anyways, ever since I've been on the board, because it's all been computerized since then. And that's what the Mary's kind of have you, you have a specific, form that you do, and then you just add the stuff depending on the thing. So I don't think we really need all that information, really. So Eric kind of pares down some of it on his, and I do like that on his. I think we should leave the checklist in the front. I don't think there's a reason to change that at all. But his has the applicant information on there, and it's and then they have it, and then he.
Gentlemen, ladies.
Good night, have a good night. And then he has, the Rocos, he just puts it in a different box, but he changes it around a little bit, but for the most part, the application is the same, all the questions are the same on his. On mine, I substantially cut that down. I don't think that, you don't look at half of that stuff when you do it, and, how much of this stuff do you look at necessarily when let's see.
We were reading it.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it, it's not like I don't look at it.
Yeah.
And the questions, like, so if you look at mine, and we don't have to make a decision on this tonight, we can wait till Eric and Shane, you know, I separated it, I just did, it's 4 parts, so there's well, it's 5 parts. There's the checklist part, which I really didn't change at all. And then I changed, the first part was just general information, so which everyone needs to fill out. Which is the name of the petitioner, the name of the owner, and then all the particulars, the deed reference, that stuff. And then I just did, part 2 was the variance, so I did the detail, just a description of the proposed work, and then I did like the relief that they requested, so I did just what the bylaw was and what the relief is they're asking for, nothing specific. And then I did 3, 4, and 5. Most of the other applications that I saw that were online did not ask for any of that information in their application. Some of the applications included like information about like what you would need under like to get a variance, like I think the town of Leicester had an attachment, like these are the 3 things that you need to present to the board to get a variance. Some of them had variations on that in different pages with what you need to present. Ours, like the one we have right now is like 9 questions for like
Yeah.
3 or 4 points that we need to really make in terms of that. And I did give it some thought, and I'm like, well, I took the 9 and took some of them out and just left the 3 main ones that I think were important, which was kind of more in line with what the statute requires. And my thinking was this, is number 1 is, either we have to tell them, like, either provide, like, this is what we need, and not necessarily give us a description on the application, or we should have them at least give some brief description so they know what they need to present before us. And I don't know how helpful what in the application it is right now, what you guys, if you find that helpful or not when you're looking at it before the meeting. If you don't, like, you don't look at it at all, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. And we're just getting the information from the applicant, we're at the public hearing. Sometimes it's helpful to me, sometimes it's not. Now, when you look at the existing when you get that application, when you get it emailed over to you, how much do you read through it beforehand to get a feeling for whether it's worth it to have it in the application or not? Or how much do you feel that most of the information that we're gonna get anyways is in the meeting, when we have the actual meeting, and it's not just worth it to have it, just get the basic information and whether they're gonna file for a variance or whatever, what section of the variance, and that's it. And we can do that if we want. It's not, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, when I read it before the meeting, I'm looking for real quick, what are they looking to do, what do they need
Right,
in the plans.
yeah,
I wanna see the plans, like the
yeah,
lot lines or
Pretty
whatever
much
they need.
pages 6 through 9, I don't even look at.
yeah.
It's
Like
the
all those
first 3 or
questions,
4 pages.
Yeah, I look at, all right, who's the owner?
Yeah.
What are they looking to do? Is it a variance? Is it a special
Yes,
permit?
variance, special permit.
Right, it's like get an idea of what they're asking for.
Yeah.
And then, I'll do stuff, I'll go online, I'll Google map the property, sometimes I'll drive by the property, a lot of times I'll do that. I'll look to see what else is on there, ahead of time some of the applications asked for a copy of the deed, some didn't. And I don't know if ours doesn't.
It's public, well, I guess, yeah, it's an extra step.
Well, we wanna make sure the person in front of us is the one that's actually doing the applying, or we wanna make sure that the owner is the same, but that's kind of in the abutters list anyways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not always,
The guy that was the chair before me, this guy Brian, he would always pull a copy of the deed for the meeting. And he was a surveyor by, profession, so he would always pull it and make sure. But the guy before him, Ray, who was the first chair, he was the chair when the zoning, it was enacted in
Wow.
1986 or 7. And then he was chair till, probably at least 2006 or 2007. And Brian was for a couple of years, and then I bought it after that, unfortunately. Yeah, so like, you know, I think that we should, like, and the questions that I put in this, and maybe we just save it till September and come back to it again in September. The questions I put into that, the way I kind of thought about it is that the petitioner, like, the information that we know we're gonna ask for, like, the variance of the special permit, is it, you know, is the change, alteration, or use on a special permit detrimental to the neighborhood? Is it with, you know, is it within line with the town bylaw? And the variance, you know, what is the, you know, condition, you know, shape, topography, or whatever that poses a substantial hardship? Like, I put those questions in there, because those are the questions that we would automatically ask.
Yeah, I like that you
So
called
I
that
think,
out.
so either, like, we just tell them, like, hey, these are the things that we're gonna ask, or we kinda at least do some sort of questioning, so they know what we're gonna be asking, or we have some upfront idea. But I don't think that we need 13 pages and 9 questions on a variance. It's just not, you know, and some of it's specific, and I don't think we need to necessarily be that specific on that, because I think that, like I said, that this was originally designed to be the decision at the end of the day after it was done from back in the late 80s, early 90s.
I gotta say, I do like Eric's exhibit A.
The box thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
just-
can do that.
Just cause it gives us,
It's an easier look
I
than
didn't
what
get it, I didn't
yeah.
see Eric's.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, you didn't get Eric's?
I
thought I gave
didn't
you-
get Eric's either. I didn't know if there was an
Yeah,
actual.
this is Eric's. This is original.
I mean, I like yours because of how short it is.
Yeah, I don't think we shouldn't, and I think what Eric did was he just didn't know like what we would actually keep and what we didn't, so. And I took this important notice and I changed it. So it says, once a variance, special permit, or extension is approved. Well, we're not automatically gonna approve that, so I changed, if you look at mine at the end, I changed mine to the end. And I said, if a variance is approved, and then I changed some of the language around after that. Wow.
Yeah, cause I don't even, I guess you have requested relief instead of front yard, side setbacks, things of that nature.
Yeah, yeah, cause I,
So I think yours with his exhibit A would work pretty good.
so I can add the exhibit A in there for the next meeting. You have, it, Margaret, do you have
Yeah, I
Eric's?
got his.
Yeah. But you like the box better than the, yeah.
Well, where, did you even have that in there? You just have sections and requested relief.
No, so what I did was I did this. So in mine, I separated into 4 separate parts outside the checklist. General information, which we need for
Yeah.
everything. Well, on the one that we have now, there's like, some of the information that everyone must answer is also the same information in the findings of fact, or everything like that. So I just got rid of all that.
Yeah.
So everyone answers the general information, and then I did like section 2 was only for a variance, and you would just fill out that for the variance. Section 3 was only for a special permit, you would fill that out for a special
Gotcha,
permit.
gotcha.
And section 4 was only for an appeal. And I just pared all the questions down. So it's still one general
So
application.
we would have to pull that information during the meeting if we left it out,
What?
setbacks and stuff like that.
Well,
once
so they would
request
put that, like, so I just put
They would
general,
just-
so I put like what section and what
Yeah.
exactly you asking for.
Gotcha.
So if it says like, Article 200, 200.3, 2.3, front setback, and then, 5 feet
Okay,
plus
so
or
it
minus.
would work the same way.
It would work the
just-
same, I just kinda left it general instead of saying like, I mean, we could, if you wanna do a section with the setbacks, we can certainly do that in the box that Eric has, cause that's pretty slim line as well, if we wanna do that.
I do like that box, that makes it easy to just
Quickly
quickly
reference.
see
Right.
what we're doing.
Right, so we can add that box in if we're gonna do a if you wanna leave that in for setbacks and things like that, to do that. And then just do one other thing like other proposed, like we have in our existing one, that's
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely fine.
I mean, building coverage and building height, we probably don't use that
No.
very often at all.
No,
Minimal lot square footage, street frontage, side setbacks we use,
right, so we can leave that stuff in,
yeah.
and then just take all the other
So that would be replace question 2 on your version?
So, yeah, so on my version, yeah, it would be section 2, question 2, I would take all of that out.
Take that out
And
and
then
then
put
put
this
in.
Put in the box
put in
stuff
this
Eric
chart,
has, right,
Less the building height,
Right.
building percent coverage.
yeah,
It is easier to quickly reference it when it's just.
in a
it's-
format like that.
Yeah, it's gridded like that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
I think also from a person who's applying for this standpoint,
Yeah,
it helps with the, what am I looking to fill out
right,
aspect.
yeah,
Oh, there's the setback requirements, they're looking for that.
yeah, and that's fine, yeah, that's why we're sitting here talking about it. So I can do that, I'll write that in here.
That's the only thing I see.
So the first part though, do you wanna do what Eric has on the first part with this too? Does that make a difference to you?
The layout looks nicer.
No, I mean, I think the information on yours works too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Frank's general information, I like the chart
Yeah.
for Exhibit A from
You-
Eric.
So in terms of like the overall, like the way that we have it right now, like me just doing those 3 things, getting rid of all the findings of fact and all that other stuff, you guys are all fine with that stuff?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's overly confusing.
that's
Like-
what we do here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like answer 6 through 10 if you're doing this, but then skip 11 through 15, like, I don't wanna look, if I had to do this for, another thing in town here, for somebody, and I'm like, this is a pain in the neck. It's not, like, I had to do a planning board application, like, this is kind of a pain in the neck having to do all this stuff. So, to kind of,
When does it go online, like the permit application?
well, we would have to vote on it, and then we would have to ask them to update the website to put it on there.
I mean, do we have anybody on staff anywhere in town that's like good at design?
How good are you at design?
I'm okay.
You know, kind of take what we're looking for and make it look
Yeah, I mean.
clean?
Yeah,
I like clean, I don't know.
yeah,
Like, for me, like, the questions on your general information are good,
yeah.
but it's more aesthetically pleasing to look at the
I-
chart.
I agree with that. And what I did was, I did that, and then afterwards I looked at Eric's, I'm like, his is a little bit better than mine.
I know somebody
Yeah,
who
as long
does
as there's
design.
enough
that-
space in it,
That
in
can,
the chart to put
I
it
was
all
gonna
in.
say,
Right.
That,
weren't we
cause
just
that's what you're
talking
talking
AI?
about, right?
yeah, we
This
are.
section?
You know, just ask
And we
AI
can-
what to do.
We can adjust that to put the right, the necessary information into that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the other question I have is, once we have what we kind of want,
Yeah.
can we make it so it's like an Adobe fillable form, so they don't have to handwrite it?
Mm.
Oh, I don't know, we'd have to find out from IT in the town if that's possible.
Yeah,
I mean, it is possible.
It is possible. If you send me the Word document, I can make the changes.
We need to do it, it has to go, we should, if we do something like that, if we're gonna make it a fillable document, then, like, I don't know whether,
So it works in 2 ways. If it's digital, then people can either download it, fill it in, and then print it, or they can print it and it's
right,
just.
but the question becomes does the site allow that? Do they allow the thing, like, I have
It's
no
just a-
idea.
Yeah, it's just a PDF.
Yeah, so it's the same thing as a PDF.
Yeah.
And if the person who is downloading it has that capability, then they can enter their information. If they don't, they just print it up and then
Fill it in.
pen it in.
We can find out that. If you guys wanna do that, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanna make it a fillable PDF, if they'll do it, it's fine with me. I don't-
Well, that's what I was saying. So if you send it to me, I can do it
Okay,
and take care of it and then send it out to everybody.
all right. So do you want, I can incorporate Eric's good-looking one and just put my questions on that? Is that what you wanna do? And then I can send it to her, and then she can send it out to you guys? You wanna do that?
Works for me.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
And then if I get the Word file, I'll make it into an editable PDF
Yeah.
and then send it back.
Kind of flavors.
Vanilla.
And then
Vanilla.
before we do that, the next meeting, we would have to vote to approve the new application and replace it. We're just not gonna put it up online. It has to be a vote.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then after we got that done, then we're gonna review and redo the zoning, administrative rules after that, because those are just as were written in 1986 too.
It's a
and
lot of words.
Yeah. Yeah. You wanna redo them too?
The administrative rules?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be voted on every year.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. That was something I was going to bring to you. So definitely we need to do that.
Yeah, because they're a little bit backwards. Like, some of the major appeals that we've had over the years, like it says that, like we have to vote on the findings of fact on that, but you can't, how do you vote on the findings of fact if you haven't made a decision yet? Right, so, and this happened once where we voted on the findings of fact, and we all agreed on them, and then we all had a vote, and it was the opposite of what the findings of fact were on the original findings of fact. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm not following that.
So as part of an appeal, someone appeals the zoning determination, so that's part of, within the zoning board of, appeals, is that if Kurt writes as a zoning enforcement officer, if he writes an opinion, and that opinion, if someone disagrees with that opinion, they have the right to come to us, and then we would either agree with Kurt in his opinion, or we would overturn his opinion and allow whatever, the zoning determination is,
I got you.
right? So the way that the administrative rules are written is that we would have to vote on a finding of fact first, and then we vote on whether we're gonna overturn Kurt or not. So if we vote on the findings of fact and we're all in agreement on that, and then we do a general vote on whether we're gonna overturn Kurt, there's a possibility that the facts that we vote on contradict the actual vote, whether we overturn them or not.
So in the past, we've had to postpone the meeting, have finding of
The
facts
facts
written
written.
up, then go back to the
Then
meeting.
vote, and then assign the finding of facts afterwards. And then like there's provisions in there that we need to take like oaths and things like that, which I don't think that we need.
Have I not seen this?
No,
Where-
they're
where
in
are
the,
the- where are these
they're on the
rules?
website.
They're on the web-
They're on
oh.
the website, yeah.
God, I'm on the website every day, I don't.
Yeah, it's like, if you're in the zoning the zoning board of appeals, I think it's under like administrative rules or ZBA rules or something like that.
Okay.
There is a link to it on there. There's some things that definitely need to be updated on
All right, so that's next.
that. Okay, so, we're in agreement, that's what we'll do. I don't think we need to make a vote on that. We'll just vote on the final draft. And then, last thing is, the minutes from July 2nd.
I haven't seen any either.
They were, yeah, I think there was an email to you guys on it.
Oh.
Oh, I just meant the physical one to sign.
Oh, no, I have that right here. I don't know where it is, I had it. This is the physical one here, here's the signature.
Which I can't vote on.
No. So then I wanna make a vote on,
I need to review it first.
take a look at it.
Yeah. Get a chance.
Missed the email somehow.
That, the McClure building used to be in my family at one point,
Where to the town did your family?
a lot. Well, depends on what part of the family you're talking about.
Enough.
You okay with the minutes? You want someone to make a motion?
Does anybody else wanna sign it?
Yeah, everyone will sign it.
Motion to approve the minutes
As written?
as written.
Is there a second on? Second by Garrett. All in favor, say aye.
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 Minutes are approved. Is there any other business that we have that we're unaware of? All right, so is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.